I'm Sheriff Jay Armbrister here in Douglas County, and with me is Morgan Shockley-Haney. Today we want to talk to you about our Citizens Academy and the things that we do, the things we talk about, and the things that you'll get out of it.
Hi, I'm Morgan Shockley-Haney. I'm Community Outreach and Support Advocate for the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and I'm the coordinator for the Citizens Academy. So I facilitate getting the employees together and making the schedule, and then helping promote and getting the citizens involved. And then I go every session and make sure that everything goes well. It's a 9-session, 7-week-long event that the Sheriff's Office hosts, where citizens and community members get to come in and talk about just everything that the Sheriff's Office does, from our day-to-day to some of our procedures, to just various tasks and duties that we have.
What days of the week is it?
It's on Thursdays with 2 Saturday sessions. So Thursdays after work, and then the Saturday sessions are all day on Saturdays.
Is it like in the evening, or when is it?
It's in the evening on Thursdays. About 5 to 9 is when it goes.
9 o'clock, okay.
9 o'clock. So it runs a little late, but we make it fun so everyone
Yep.
stays awake.
It was developed, I don't know, we're coming up on probably 10 years now. Sheriff McGovern saw to it that this thing actually happened. The Lawrence Police Department has had a Citizens Academy for a long time, but we wanted to do something just a little bit different. So when we developed this program, we wanted it to be a bit more hands-on. So there's still plenty of classroom, and there's still plenty of PowerPoints and that kind of stuff, but we take it a step further in that we'll show you what we do, we'll talk about why we do it, and then a lot of the times we'll let you do it, and we'll let you do the things that we do, see the things we see, up until the point where we'll let you drive our cars. You'll get a chance to come out to the range and learn firearm safety, as well as the training that we go through when it comes to the threat assessments and our use of force continuums up into including the use of lethal force. And so we just feel like that creates a better learning dynamic, but it's also better for education and transparency. The thing that I've noticed, not only in my career, but especially since becoming a sheriff, is that the citizens of the county, they have questions about not only what we do, but especially why we do it. And a lot of times, in the past, we've held those answers close to our chest, and we've acted a little bit secretive. And so we want to blow the doors off of that, because what I've found is that the two things that tend to ease the most stressful or the biggest underlying questions is education and transparency. And those are two things that we want to combat, but we also want to promote. So if you have a question as to, say some certain instance happened and the police reacted and law enforcement reacted in a certain way, or something happened in the jail and a certain specific incident occurred and our follow-up seemed a little unusual or didn't make sense, we want to be able to explain why that was, or explain what mistake was made and whether or not we made it, and we'll own it. So I feel like just the simple education of it, but then also talking honestly about, hey, we're an agency full of humans. We do make mistakes, but we're held to a very high standard, so we know that the cost of our mistakes can have catastrophic outcomes. And that's why we train, and we're going to show you all the things that we do to be the very best we can be. Just like everybody else, sometimes I get sucked into the comments section of articles, and I look through there and I'm like, well, there'll be somebody saying, well, why on earth did blank happen, or who thought this was a good idea? And I have those answers. But a comments section is not the place, especially for me in law enforcement, to get myself involved in. This is our way to do that. And so years ago, I believe it was pre-2020. In fact, I know it was probably about 18 or so. But a good friend of mine that I grew up with was on social media, was very upset, rightfully so, about a national issue that had happened where a young black man was killed by law enforcement. And he had very valid questions about the system, about the police's reaction, and then the fallout afterwards. And through that conversation, he and I engaged in a very good, very civil dialogue, which is what we love. But through that, I remember saying to him, hey, you really should come and take our Citizens Academy. And he took me up on that challenge. In fact, the first night there, he even said, I'm only here because Jay Armbrister told me to come and do this. And at the end of the 7 weeks, he and I spoke again, and he still had questions, he still had issues, and we absolutely agreed on a lot of those things. But what he came away with was the education to say, what I've learned is that you all need help. We need to make sure that you have the tools you need, the training you need, and the mental health training and resources that you need to make sure that we send the very best people out on the streets who are going to be interacting with the public. And I could not agree with him more. So I don't want to say that he was an adversary necessarily, but he had questions, and through that we had this dialogue which brought him around to becoming an ally and wanting to make the system better, wanting to be a part of the change that he wanted to see. And to me, that's about as good as it gets. I think you see a lot of vitriol and just pure anger in comment sections where if you were in an elevator with that person, you wouldn't say it that way and you wouldn't say those things. But I think it does when you see that, I can give an answer on paper, but when you hear it from me, you can tell that it's either bothering me or that I'm supportive or I'm proud or I'm hurt or I'm sad or I'm angry. I think that interpersonal connection and exchange is what you'll get, because we're not law enforcement apologists. We're here to explain why things happen and the reason that they happen that way, but also here's the mistakes that were made, here's what we're doing to avoid them in the future, and that kind of stuff. Especially in this community where we have such a large city, which carries about 86% of our overall county population. That's a very good question, and especially when in the overarching government structure, the way that the counties and the cities work together, but the law enforcement specifically. But we are a totally different agency, and we are bound by state laws to do certain things that the police department does not have to do, and on top of the fact, just the simple fact that I'm an elected official and the police chief is as we joke, re-elected every day. It creates a unique dynamic between the two agencies, and just kind of exploring and explaining those things. People are just like, oh, no kidding, I had no idea. So I think that's super helpful.
Sure.
I think if you're on the fence, I would err on the side of doing it and backing away from it. We find that people will come in and realize that it's maybe going to be a little bit more than what their capacity for in the information or the activity is. But also, the key here is that you don't have to do everything. Don't be afraid that we're just going to throw you into a car, we're going to put a gun in your hand. That is not the case. That's a small fraction of what we do. But we have plenty of people who sit through the classes and then go to the practicals and then simply watch or observe, because they don't want to be involved or get themselves into a position where they may do something or hurt themselves. But really, they just want to see how it works. And we absolutely respect that, and we welcome that. That's the whole point of this thing, is to come in and understand. And if that means just standing on the sidelines and watching and observing, hey, come and do it. That's exactly what we're after.
I've had plenty of people say that they don't want to do certain things, primarily when it does come to the driving and to the firearms, just because those are scary things people aren't used to. But I did have one female participant that didn't want to do it, but spoke with one of the range masters privately. And when everyone else moved on to a different thing, that range master went up there with her and introduced her to the gun, explained it, showed how the gun worked, and she ended up shooting and having a emotional response where she was, I can't believe that this is what it is, and I've just haven't been doing it, and thank you for taking the time and the effort to teach me and walk along with me. It was a really great moment. It's really impactful. It felt wonderful, and it just goes to show you what kind of employees we have, that range master took the time to spend with her like that. So you can call the front office and you can get my number and speak to me directly about it, and we can give you the email, or you can also go onto our social media site. It's posted there as well. Or you can go to our internet site, which is dgso.org. I absolutely love Citizens Academy. It's my favorite thing to do every year.
Yeah,
so
we look
please
forward
come.
to it. Yeah.
So much fun. And our food is really awesome. Yeah.
So will the participants have an opportunity to eat every night?
Yes, the participants do get to eat every single night, and we actually use, most of the time, there are a few times we can't, we use local people and businesses here, which is really, really wonderful and gives you a chance to try new things around here.
Do they get to try jail food?
Yes, your first night you do get to come out and try jail food, and it is actually very good. And the
actually
cookies are delicious.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So, is this a pass-fail class?
No, absolutely not. So you can come and do as much as you want or as little as you want, and it's just all about the experience and what you're willing to put in.
And so if you can only make it to 5 of the 7 weeks.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Show up when you can.